Hello and welcome. In today's video we will be making our snake head follow the mouse just like in Slither IO if you have played that one. So okay, let's begin. First of all, we want to open our script, snake movement. So by now we are moving our snake with keys A and D and we want to follow the mouse. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna comment out our rotation. Since we're not calling that one anymore, you can just leave it here. The next thing we want to do is, since we're going to be using the method called lookAt, it will look at with the front axis, which is the z-axis, and it will follow that route. So what we want to do, since our where's the move forward? Since our object is using y and x-axis, we want to change that. We want to use z-axis and the y-axis. We're gonna lose the x-axis, so we want to change the move forward to transform up to move forward. That's it for this part, and that's it. We can go ahead. Also, we can comment. We can actually put this into a method. We will call it input rotation. We'll do it like this. Input rotate. So we can keep this like we had before, but we're gonna comment it out so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is we're going to ray a cast. We're going to cast a ray, excuse me, from our camera to the screen, and we want that to get the point where our mouse hits the screen in a game position in the Unity scene. So we're gonna start off by making a variable, a method called let's say mouse rotation snake, whatever. Go ahead. Okay, so we want to make it here, mouse rotation snake. We can do this in the update loop, it doesn't matter. This isn't gonna be that much of a struggle for the fixed update. Okay, so we want to start off by making a few variables first. We will call one private vector3. This will be the position of our imaginary 3D world space, which our snake head will rotate towards to. So we will call it, let's say, point in world. Okay, another one is vector3 as well. We will call it mouse position to store our position. Another one is private float radius. We will call it 3. We will say it's 3.0 floats. And the last one is private vector3 direction, in which our snake head will be rotating towards. So we will be counting the direction from our snake to the mouse position so we can rotate towards it. Okay, so first we want to start off by something new. We say ray. Ray is an imaginary ray cast that you can cast and use it for collisions, hitting. Usually it's really important. You can go check that on Unity documentation. I don't know too much about it, I just know how to use it. So we're gonna say ray equals game object dot find game object. We want to find our camera, which is main camera by tag, dot get component camera dot screen to point ray input dot mouse position mouse. Okay, so what this will do, this will hit the ray from our mouse position on our screen into the Unity world, and we will get the position where it's hitting some object. Okay, so now that we have this, we want to say raycast hit. We'll call it hit. This is actually the information that will ray be storing into if we hit something or yes. Okay, so we go physics dot raycast, and we want to array a cast. So you have here the variables it takes. The first one is ray. We say out hit comma, and it asks, actually we're not going to use that, we're going to use the max distance, which will be, let's say 1000, just to make sure. Float, close it here. Okay, so now we're casting array from our screen and getting it in the Unity game. So what we're gonna do next is store that position in a mouse position, so we can capture that. And because we are using a 2D space, we're not gonna count on the z-axis, we're just gonna store x and y of the mouse. So we're gonna say mouse position equals new vector 3 is hit that point, which returns the x position on the screen, hit that point dot y comma 0, because we don't want the third direction. Okay, so the next thing is we want to count the direction from our head to the mouse position. So how do you do it? You actually just how do you say minus? You say mouse position minus the current position, and by knowing some math you should get the direction and the length of the vector of the distance of two objects in how to say coordinate system. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna go and say direction equals mouse position minus transform dot position, and this will return us the rotation of our we want to achieve and the length of that vector. But since we want to do it slowly, actually this is, we'll change that later. Okay, let's say the direction dot z equals 0, so we don't have to deal with the third axis. Okay, so the next one is going to be the point in world, which we are going to want to follow, equals direction dot normalized, which will change this which will change the magnitude of our direction into 0 to 1, so we can get in a radius. Actually, I will show you a picture right now. This is what we are trying to achieve, to rotate our mouse around the character and to make it move. Okay, so direction.normalize.radius times radius plus transform.position. We want to add the position to our current position, so we have in a radius. And the last thing we have to do is transform.look at the point in world. Okay, so let's go back into Unity. It should compile. Okay, so what we want to do in our scene, since the raycast only captures the hits from the colliders, we have to create an collider. We will just make an empty plane, rotate it around the x-axis by -90 to get it like this. Okay, let's scale it up actually to 1000 everywhere. So everywhere we go, because if we go out of this plane, oh, I made it too big. If we move our mouse here, it won't capture the hit, only when our mouse is on a collider. So we're gonna do that. Let's go ahead and move it a little bit backwards. Not that much, let's say just 5 on the z-axis. Switch back to 2D view. Go back to our snake head. Okay. We can actually turn off the mesh render since we only need the collider, which you see. And that should be it. So if I hit play, I should be getting the mouse following. Okay, this works, this is nice. But you see how if we go over the snake, it goes really unnaturally. we want to achieve the look like in the Slither EO. When you move the mouse, it makes a nice circle around. So we're gonna hit pause, go back into mono develop, and we're just gonna change one line of code. Since we want our direction to change slowly, we're gonna modify this line into vector3.slurp. Spherically interpolates between two vectors. It also has. Okay, so the original position is direction, comma, mouse position, which we just used. We want to achieve that over the time of time, the delta time times 1. And that's it. So if we go back into Unity, hopefully it's gonna work on the first try. We hit play. And now, let's go some bigger. Oh, I'm really bad. Okay, so if I were to go down, it will make a nice radius and then go to the position we wanted, and I think that's like Slither EO, maybe even better. And yeah. Okay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Until next time, bye bye.